Hey everybody! Welcome to Go Have Fun, our referee Q&A series that we've been having. We're talking to fitness experts every week from a referee's perspective. It's brought to you by the Referee Development Working Group of the Referee and Laws Committee. I want to acknowledge USA Rugby for giving us this platform and for providing the prizes. We're doing this in conjunction with the Fit Ref raffle, which has blown away, completely exceeded our expectations. It's really exciting. So I mean, tonight's prize is going to be a Canterbury jacket, a training jacket, and so they have sizes for everyone. So it should be like a nice prize. Participation was up this week, which is great. I guess the weather improved. Maybe people, I don't know. Last week's show with Poncho was great, but it's been really good. So I'd also like to acknowledge Joe Burpo for setting up the high performance competition. He knew people were missing competition, so he set it up and he really went the extra mile to get everybody sorted. And I can share some data with you at the end, just to show how hard people have been working. But thank you, Joe, for the work that you've been doing within the development group. So tonight, our originally scheduled guest has had something come up, so we have our expert, Katie Hunzinger, to come back and talk to us because she's a sports science expert about lots of stuff. So that's actually kind of her thing. So hey, Katie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, so we're talking about sleep and recovery tonight, and so why do we hate it? Why do we sacrifice sleep? Why do we? I don't want to go to bed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we all get it. I mean, I think everyone's different, right? You have people that love sleep and they're here for it, and other people are just like, it's an inconvenience for me. It's just like as a kid, right? I don't want to go take a nap. I don't want to do it. It's messing up your routine. But the reality is sleep is the most important recovery tool that you can have. And it's the, least focused on recovery tool, especially from like an S&C perspective, or even just an individual player or referee perspective. And, if I could bottle up sleep in a bottle and sell it as a pill, I think everyone would ask me for it right now.
You'd be a billionaire there.
Yeah, right. Maybe trillionaire, who knows?
Right.
I mean, it's the most effective thing we can do to just reset our brain and body, and people fight it. And it's easy to just, do one more task or play one more video game or watch one more show on Netflix or, whatever it may be, or even if life gets in the way, right? Life doesn't care about your sleep, and sorry, you have a newborn baby or your toddler got sick in the middle of the night or your dog got sick, life doesn't care. And, sleep is what we sacrifice. And unfortunately, I think that's a currency that we shouldn't be sacrificing. We should be hoarding it.
Yeah, I always kind of thought of like going to bed early was like investing in my future. This act of discipline is going to help me be much better tomorrow. So that's kind of how I got because I've been terrible insomniac my whole life. But I think I've been telling myself that for so long, I believed it. So I think I was kind of perpetuating a whole, I'm an insomniac. Well, yeah, you are, because you keep saying it over and over. So I tried to get away from that. And now I use an app to track my sleep and stuff like that because when I lose sleep, I kind of, everything kind of falls apart. Like what happens to our bodies when we get sleep deprived?
Yeah. So insufficient sleep, right? So, I mean, we're talking, 4 to 6 hours in a night. I mean, it can be short term, and so it doesn't need to be chronic, like you said, like an insomnia, it can be a short term. And we're talking, this is going to increase pro-inflammatory cytokines, and that affects our immune system and our immune function, which is going to impede muscle recovery, and which we need to repair from damage. And it leads to this autonomic nervous system imbalance. So it can simulate artificially overtraining symptoms, which results in just slower and less accurate cognitive performance. We have alterations in pain perceptive, memory, learning, Glucose metabolism, which, we need glucose that fuels the brain and the body for, mental and physical performance. And that's why when we're tired, right, we crave that donut. We crave the worst foods possible for us,
Yeah.
which is then making a bad thing worse, right? So now we sleep terrible, we feel terrible, we have this altered appetite, and we want crummy food. So then we're just adding a snowball. And, this can just lead to chronically, this can lead to increased risk for just a lot of diseases, ranging from cancers, diabetes, coronary heart disease, and, even death. Really, we say, like, the shorter you sleep, the shorter you live. So if you're chronically not sleeping enough sufficiently, you're going to have increased risk for all these bad outcomes and have, more likely to have an earlier death than, so we think there's this, performance perspective, that cognitive functioning, that reaction time, what is sport, but all of that meshed into one. So, within like very niche sporting populations, we're talking like, submaximal strength is altered, minute ventilation, distance covered that you ran in a timed run, sprint times, like tennis serve accuracy. So you think those more like minute fine motor skills, soccer kicking skills, time to exhaustion, just everything just tanks. I mean, it may be, 1 to 2%, or it could be 20%, depending what we're talking about, but it just totally changes everything and, slows your reaction time. And, reaction time obviously is the difference between a gold and fourth place if we're talking the 100-meter dash,
Absolutely. So yeah, that's big. So I got a question that already came in about napping. Do naps help, or do they just mess up your sleep routine?
Yeah, I think it depends, right? So, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. So if we're taking a 3-hour nap, that's going to affect your sleep that evening. But, a short nap here or there, there's a lot of scientific evidence that shows that our brains can benefit from that brief period of actual sleep, whether that's a nap. So, that can help us just recover from fatigue and restore alertness. And so when I say nap, I'm talking like 15 to 30 minutes, like short, that can help with alertness but really that long nap, where we're talking 2 hours, 3 hours, that's no longer a nap, right? Like,
right.
You've committed to a sleep cycle, and now you're going to wake up in the middle of the sleep cycle. You're going to feel groggy, and then it's really going to affect your sleep in the night. But that nap can be really good to supplement our sleep so that we are getting that total, ideal 7 to 9 hours in a 24-hour period.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot at work. So, I'd train in the morning, I'd go to work, and I'd sleep for like a half hour on my lunch break. And I remember just waking up like, boom, so refreshed. Just get up and I'm like, hey, that's great. And when I was researching for this, I saw NASA reported that they say the optimal nap time is 26 minutes. And I can't remember the exact statistics or whatever, but it said that their pilots showed increased accuracy and increased alertness and increased reaction time. Massive, like performance enhancing drug improvements, And I almost feel like sleep can help us do way more than any kind of cheating stuff that's out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, like we call that like sleep extension, right? So you're extending the amount of sleep you're getting, and yeah, like you said, reaction times. So mood, I mean, you just said it, right? Like you felt better, you felt like a new human after your nap. In terms of like sporting performance, we're talking about, increased shooting percentage for basketball players, free throws, 3-pointers, tennis serve accuracy, sprinting times, swim flip turns, and kick stroke accuracy, and things like that. And so really getting enough quality and quantity of sleep is near the top of the list for athlete recovery strategies. Like I said, in aiming for that 7 to 9 hours a night.
Yeah. So, there was this study. Well, Stanford has this giant sleep center, and they did some study back in 2011 with their basketball team, and every measure improved. Like they had the guys sleep for 6 to 8 hours or whatever for a month, and then they wanted them to all get 10 hours of sleep total if they had to nap or whatever. And every single statistic improved for every player. So I think that's enough for us to sit up and say, maybe we should go to bed a little earlier. So some of us work from home now permanently. Is it better to go to bed early, or is it okay to stay up late and sleep in? Like, which is more healing for our bodies?
Whichever ones get you the sufficient amount of sleep, you know. So I think as a society, we definitely kind of look at people and we think, oh, if you go to bed early and you're getting up at 4 a.m., you must be a real go-getter and a real pistol. And, you know, you slept in till 10, you must be lazy or lethargic. And, you know, like I said, life gets in the way, right? I may be a shift worker. You know, my work, I may get off at 10 p.m. and the only time I can get to the gym is 10 p.m. So I'm not getting home and showered and starting my nighttime routine till midnight, you know? So I think whichever one is going to get you that sufficient amount of sleep. So if you know that you have to be somewhere or start your work day at 8 a.m., you know, so you got to work backwards then. Okay. So that means I'm getting up at 7 maybe because I have to do whatever. So, okay, 8 hours behind that is 11. So, you know, I think just starting from there, maybe building that habit of being in bed for 8 hours. Maybe you're not asleep for 8 hours, but we're getting there, right? And then from there, we can build back, you know, another half hour, another hour, and, you know, work on being asleep and having enough sleep for 8 hours. So really, whichever one is going to work for your schedule, right? You know, like I would love to say, hey, everyone's going to go to bed from 10 to 6 and we're all going to be on the same schedule, but that's just not how the world works.
Yeah. Well, I guess it used to work that way before we invented electricity.
Right.
One could argue
That's
maybe
so
we
true.
slept, as a human race, we slept a little better back then. So if you know you're going to lose, whoever this question's from, anyways, if you know you're going to lose sleep traveling to a game or a tournament, can you sleep more that week to protect yourself?
That's like a good one. That's like talking like jet lag even. You know, I think if you know you're going to lose sleep, what are you doing in advance to protect that? You know, so first, like I said, yeah, some things are unavoidable. You know I have a 5 a.m. flight, so okay, try to go to bed a little bit earlier. You know, maybe take some melatonin to help you go to sleep. Like I'm not saying don't take like a ZQuil or a Benadryl. Like take some melatonin. You know, short-term solution. You know, try to see if you can get that nap midday and try to build up that, you know, total hours of sleep. But, you know, do the best to maximize it. Because like I said, people seem to, you know, throw sleep away. That's not a currency we want to spend. Right. You know, just like you wouldn't go eat a Big Mac before you referee a sevens match. You know, why are you staying out or watching television and Netflix in bed till 2 a.m. when you know you have to get up at 6 a.m.? So I think people were too, you know, we're all too quick to just be like, screw it. Like, I'll just have an extra cup of coffee. You know, I'll drink a red eye in the morning. It's fine. Like I can do without it. Like, it's not fine. You know, like I said, like if I sat you down and said, okay, this is going to increase your risk for diabetes. This is going to decrease your reaction time. This is going to, you know, alter your mood. You're going to be a jerk. Then maybe you might reconsider it. Right. Yeah, like we're all going to be jerks, right? Nobody likes talking to their roommate or their friend or their significant other when they're tired or groggy or waking up that toddler from the nap time. Like, no way, not doing it. I'm not being the bad guy.
Yeah. So the increased risk for the illnesses you mentioned are all basically stress related. Can you talk about the way stress, like the cortisol, the hormone cortisol, and how that affects our sleep?
Yeah. So yeah, cortisol, we know that sleep deprivation can just increase those stress hormones. Like I said, it affects the autonomic nervous system imbalance. And so that's affecting cortisol. And like you said, that's just going to lead to increased risk for all of these numerous diseases like cancer and diabetes. And that's just not a good long-term solution for anything.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll ask you this before I ask you the next thing. So you mentioned melatonin as a safe sleep aid for temporarily to help you get on a schedule, right?
Yeah.
Are there sleep aids that are safer than others and still be able to perform in the morning?
I would say, you know, that's something that it's recommended to work out with your doctor, because I think that things that we don't consider is the fact that, you know, melatonin, yes, it's a hormone naturally produced in our body, in our brain, you know, produces it in response to darkness. And, It helps with this timing of our circadian rhythm, our body's internal clock.
Yeah.
And we know that like being exposed to light at night can block melatonin production. But I think we have to remember that, melatonin in the United States, at least, it's considered a dietary supplement. So that means it's regulated less strictly by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, than prescription or over-the-counter drugs would be. That's not to say other countries it might be considered a drug. I don't know. I'm speaking for US only. And so I think it's, that's something to talk with your, pharmacist or your doctor about, especially if you're having that sleep issue, or, hey, occasionally, or I know I'm going to be jet lagged, or I know I've got something, what can you recommend? Because, like you said, it's not a long-term solution. You're going to build up that tolerance almost. And so, if you're taking melatonin every night, we've now created that as part of our sleep routine. And, that's not good, because now you have it in your head, oh, I can't go to sleep unless I take a melatonin.
Right.
Oh, I can't go to sleep. And so, that routine with sleep is really one of the most important things that you can have. And, we call it sleep hygiene. And so, that's having a good sleep schedule. So, getting up at the same time on the weekends as you would for the weekdays. And I guess I understand that, sometimes, we get up earlier for a tournament on a Saturday because we have to drive all the way across the state. But, there's other things that you can do to help improve that sleep hygiene, like avoiding caffeine and nicotine and alcoholic drinks, and, at certain times before bed. And, some medications may disrupt your sleep. So, we're kind of in allergy season and sinus season.
True.
So like taking like things like, certain sinus medications like pseudoephedrine, that will just totally wreck your sleep. I just got the COVID-19 vaccine. That was the worst night's sleep I've had in ages. That's not to say like, don't get it. Like, I just woke up every 2 hours. So things can affect it. Certain medications can affect it. And, having, like I said, having too much of a good thing, like having a late afternoon nap. So taking a nap at 5 p.m., knowing I go to bed at 6, so really it's just having that good sleep habits. And, we really say that, the bedroom, that bed should really just be for just that. It should be sleep. So if I'm, playing video games in my bed, I'm, always in my bed, working from home on my bed, I've now affiliated my bed with so many things. So when it is time to wind down, my body's like, no, like this is Xbox zone. This is, whatever zone. And so, we want that good sleep environment. And, we say your bedroom should be cave-like, it should be cool and dark. And so, I don't know about you, I sleep the best in the winter because my house is so cold because I'm too cheap to heat it.
Yeah, same. So before we were talking, and maybe this is going to be hard for some people to hear, but could you please describe the study that you were telling me about before we started?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'll have to give a shout out to my friend, Jacqueline Cassis, Dr. Cassis at the Ohio State, I'm sorry. So we just, I'm a co-author on the paper. She's the lead author. She's just a great junior faculty member. And so this is data from the Department of Defense and NCAA Care Consortium. And so she took baseline concussion data. So we baseline test all these student athletes across the academy, the military academies, the student athletes. So, and, before they even start their athletic season as Division I athletes, D2, D3 athletes, and they fill out symptom questionnaires. And so, these are things like, do you have a headache, low energy, neck pain, sleep issues, you don't feel right, difficulty concentrating, light sensitivities, common things we see with concussions. And so she took data from 13,000 cadets and 21,000 student athletes and looked at their baseline symptom counts. And so in the concussion world, we have a thing called PCS, persistent concussion symptoms. And so, post-concussional syndrome. And this is a very vague thing where if you have 3 or more, you could be classified by the ICD-10 codes as having PCS. And so at baseline, we had about 15% roughly at baseline would be considered, so those with insufficient sleep at baseline would be considered having PCS, post-concussional syndrome. And so
did you hear that,
that's
people?
just not having sleep. Like 15% would be considered PCS. And that's just, like you said, did you hear that? Like
Yeah.
Go get sleep. So these people are, you know, emulating, they're looking like PCS patients just because they're not getting sleep. I mean, they're college kids, right? We're 18 to 22-year-olds, right? They, you know, they're hungover, they didn't get a good night's sleep or dehydrated. So, you know, they're having these things, but really that poor sleep and other things like pre-existing conditions and stress, you know, were really the biggest predictors of having this, being able to classify them as PCS. And so I think really the biggest thing for them is, you know, that stress management and sleep. And sometimes that goes hand in hand, right? How often are we in bed at night, you know, ruminating about, oh, I can't believe I said that, you know,
Yeah.
so you're stressed out and then you're not sleeping because you're stressed out. And that goes along to another thing is like, you know, if you're lying in bed awake, you know, being like a mummy for 2 hours, you know, get up, do something, read a book, you know, reset yourself, you know, have a nice little lamp so you can just read or do something. But, you know, worst thing you can do is just sit there lying awake. I know people with insomnia, that's what they do all the time, but it's like, hey, get up, do something. If you're not falling asleep, you know, in the first 30 minutes, you got to change something.
Yeah, that's good advice. So, okay, take home messages. I'm probably one of those baseline people. I'm probably in that 15% walking around sleep deprived for the largest part of my life. And yeah, well, some of that sounds familiar, if I'm honest. So one last thing I wanted to say, William VA, I hope I'm saying that right, but he wrote in and said, eat to live, sleep to win, in terms of recovery. I thought that was pretty cool. So
Love it.
he should probably copyright that. Maybe it's already copyrighted, but I think that's pretty cool. Eat to live,
Yeah.
sleep to win.
Yeah, and you know, there's a reason that, you know, professional sports teams are tracking how much people are sleeping, you know, whether it's through their Apple Watches or those Whoop bands, you know, that really is a, you know, indicator of your recovery. And, you know, poor recovery means increased risk for injury. And like,
Yeah.
again, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you intentionally put yourself at increased risk for injury?
Right. And longevity. So Steve Nash, I read about him, and he would take a nap before every game. And he's like, all those naps add up over your career, and it like makes you a better ball player. And there he goes, 18 seasons, retires at 41. There might be something to that, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, like good things happen. That's when we're building muscle. You know, that's when we're recovering from those training bouts is when we're sleeping. So, you know, why wouldn't you sleep? Why would you restrict your own sleep? You know, I understand, you know, a bad night's sleep happens, but, you know, make it a priority. Like you prioritize training. So why aren't you prioritizing your recovery? And sleep's going to be 80% of that recovery.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Katie.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been super informative, pretty scary stuff, but I think we should all take it to heart. Hopefully people will understand more and more about sleep and you know, prioritize it and, you know, guard their sleep, you know, so that nothing interferes with it. So thank you very much for coming on such short notice. This was
happy to help.
So now I'm you can stick around and do some shout outs for the week. So lots of different things. In addition to running and Peloton, people have been doing sprints, maybe because Poncho was so awesome last week. Thank you again to him. Some people are actually refereeing again. They're very lucky. You know, we're jealous. Yes, I am. Nick Racono of SoCal did 90 minutes of pickleball. If only I could have been there to see that. We have some seriously consistent participation this week from a lot of people. Alex Carr from East Penn, Dave Chapman from Virginia, Matt Lake from upstate New York, Pete Paulson, who was one of our week 2 winners. He's still going strong in Minnesota. Pete Chamberlain, still. Renee Wittenberg from Ohio, they're both still going strong, and Rachel McGrail also from Ohio. They've been very consistent, putting up lots of minutes. I am going to share my screen now so that I can show you what the high performance group's been doing. So if you can see here, we have Ryan Haggerty from the Rocky Mountains, who is leading overall minutes, 3,340, followed closely by Elvie Asanye and Kat Roche. So it's pretty cool to see this kind of data. I did this to protect their personal information and all that, but it's pretty cool. And I just think it's great that you guys are getting out there, and we're gonna look at some other stuff. Let me share my other screen because it's really cool. Oh, I forgot. I almost made a PowerPoint. So your body, sleep deprivation actually worsens constipation, guys. So there's another one. So I also went on Facebook and I looked at who's been using the FitRef raffle hashtag, and we have the New England Referee Society doing their own raffle. We've got the HP lads that are posting their workouts. There's Elvie with her push-ups. Renee getting it on the Peloton. Bridget taking the cat. So cute. And again, Nurs is taking this on their whole thing. They're sharing our stuff because it's cool. Lil Rymac, just a throwback OG, getting it on with her FitRef raffle workouts. It's just really, really encouraging. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been participating, because it's just been great. So okay, we'll get to the exciting stuff. Like I said, tonight's the prize is a Canterbury training jacket, USA Rugby training jacket, and they have sizes for everybody, so don't worry. There's 3 to go around and it'll fit you. So we'll start with social, and here we go. David Chapman, you won. Contact us for your prize. Just goes to show, the more you work out, the more you win. For the club division, the winner is Stephen Valerio. Go on, Stephen. Congratulations. And for our friends in the high performance division, Elvie.
Look at that.
All of that paid off, Elvie, finally. So congratulations. And that's pretty cool. So this has been a really, really nice one tonight. I really appreciate you, KD, honestly, because this was like last minute. I have next week we're going to be talking about like periodization of training, and a couple of our referees who are training for the Women's World Cup. Hopefully, if it happens, Amelia Luciano and Kat Roche are training with this guy in Australia whose last name I haven't learned how to pronounce yet, but I'll have it by next week, guys. And I guess that's it. So I guess I'll just play a little song, and then
play us out.
I'll play us out. There, I wrote it about an hour ago. Okay. I gotta tell you, this has been so much fun for me. Just kind of.
That's why I stay on so long. I have to wait for the song.
Okay, so. Oh God. See, life doesn't care about your paper folding. Okay, here we go. So, February's done for the FitRef raffle. We hope you're happy making healthy routines. It's a good thing we're getting fitter, because there may be rugby for us to handle. The FDA approved a new vaccine. Good sleep hygiene is crucial if you want to be your best. Recovery is job number 1. If you want to do it right, so you can let your sweat shine bright when you go have fun. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye now.